too young, the calling that he was of sea. I am to beauty, but to beauty, but love. I'll move for two, the secrets of my farewell. Blurred out cold over loving you. Paradise beauty,
You've got it tuned to 90.3 FM KEXP. Chelsea Wolfe live in the studios.